Hey everyone, and a huge shout out to all you kids tuning in from our Bible reading clubs. I am so excited to have you here today. Welcome to this explainer where we are going to dive into literally one of the most epic, dramatic, and unforgettable visions in the entire Bible. We're jumping straight into the amazing imagery of the book of Revelation, specifically chapter 18. This is a chapter absolutely packed with mighty angels, falling cities, and a massive message about what truly matters in life. So let's set the stage. I want you to picture a place in your mind. Imagine a city that looks incredibly beautiful, rich and shiny on the outside. You know, like a city made entirely of sparkling jewels and solid gold. But on the inside, it's full of terrible choices, unfairness, and just plain wickedness. What do you think happens to a place like that? Well, in Revelation 18, this place is called Babylon, and it really represents any system or city in the world that decides, hey, we don't need God. All right, let's dive right into this vision and see what happens.
Okay, part one, the angel's big announcement. Our epic story kicks off with this incredibly powerful scene. John, the guy who is actually receiving this vision from God, looks up and sees a mighty angel coming down from heaven. And listen, this isn't just your everyday run-of-the-mill angel. The Bible tells us he has such great power and his glory is so intensely bright that it literally acts like a giant flashlight lighting up the entire earth. And he doesn't just whisper either. He shouts with this booming, strong voice that echoes everywhere. Babylon the Great is fallen, is fallen. He's announcing that this rich, wicked city has been completely brought down. Instead of being a shiny palace, the angel says it's become a dark, creepy home for foul spirits and a cage for scary, unclean birds. It's a picture of total, utter desertion. Now, you might be wondering, why exactly did this happen? Well, the angel explains that all the nations and the kings of the earth had kind of partnered up with this city. Instead of loving God and doing the right thing, they fell in love with her shiny stuff. They drank up her bad choices like a bitter drink and completely ignored God's rules. They actually thought all their money and power made them untouchable. But as we'll see, they were building their lives on the exact wrong things. Which brings us to part two, the warning, get out now. Right after that booming angel speaks, another voice rings out directly from heaven with a super urgent message. It's a major warning for God's people who might be living near or, getting tempted by this shiny, wicked city. The voice cries out, "Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues." God is basically telling his followers to run away, get out of there. He absolutely doesn't want them getting caught up in Babylon's bad choices. The voice says that her sins haven't just piled up a little bit, they've stacked up so high they literally reach all the way to heaven. God has seen every single unfair and wicked thing they've done. This brilliantly shows the massive difference between the city's attitude and God's justice. On the pride side, Babylon was unbelievably boastful. She bragged in her heart, "I sit a queen, and shall see no sorrow." I mean, she really thought she was invincible. But because she lived only for herself and totally ignored God, his justice steps in. Her plagues, death, mourning, and famine are all going to arrive in a single day. All that pride, it couldn't protect her from God's righteous judgment.
Moving on to part three, the world cries for Babylon.
When that fiery judgment finally hits the city, the people who loved doing bad things with her are completely shocked. 3 different groups of people just stand far away in fear, watching the smoke of her burning, and they actually start to cry. The vision breaks this down into 3 steps. First, the kings of the earth who partnered with her bewail and lament. They're crying out, "Alas, alas, that great city Babylon." Second, the merchants, the businessmen who sold her all the shiny things, they weep and mourn too. And third, the sailors and shipmasters who transported all these goods across the ocean, they throw dust on their heads in deep sadness. They're all mourning because this mighty, seemingly invincible city was destroyed in just 1 single hour. Let's look closer at that in part 4, a mountain of lost treasure. We really have to stop and ask an important question here. Why were these merchants and kings crying so hard? Was it because they genuinely loved the people of the city and felt bad for them? Or was it because no one was buying their crazy amount of stuff anymore? Well, the answer becomes super clear when we see what they lost. They lost a literal mountain of treasure. Gold, silver, pearls, fine purple silk, fancy ivory, cinnamon, spices, horses, chariots. But guys, listen to the most tragic part of this list. This wicked city was so greedy that they even traded in slaves and the souls of men. They treated human beings, people created and loved by God, like property, just to make a quick buck. No wonder God had to step in. So the crucial takeaway is this. Imagine you spend all day at the beach building the biggest, most beautiful, most detailed sandcastle ever. It looks absolutely amazing. But then a massive wave comes crashing in, and in 1 second, the whole thing is completely wiped out. Gone. That is exactly how fast all of Babylon's amazing earthly wealth vanished. In 1 hour, poof, the whole shebang was gone.
Okay, part 5. Heaven rejoices for justice.
While the greedy kings and merchants of the world are standing far off, weeping and throwing dust on their heads over their lost toys and money, the reaction up in heaven is the exact opposite. A voice from heaven gives a direct command to the holy apostles and prophets to rejoice. Now, to rejoice means to feel or show great joy or delight. But wait, why are they cheering when a city is falling? They aren't cheering for destruction, guys. They are cheering because God's perfect justice has finally arrived. The bullying is over.
The text tells us that God has avenged the prophets and saints. For a really long time, this wicked city had been incredibly cruel to God's people. But God stepped in to protect his children and set things right. This proves once and for all that all the shiny gold, precious stones, and fancy purple silk in the world cannot save you if you cheat and fight against God. God always, always stands up for what is right. And finally, part 6, the giant millstone. To show exactly how final and permanent this judgment is, John watches a highly dramatic action by another mighty angel. He sees this angel pick up a massive stone. The Bible describes it as a great millstone. Now, for my Bible Club kids, a millstone wasn't just a little rock you could skip across a pond. Oh no, it was a giant, incredibly heavy stone used for grinding wheat into flour. Some were so big they literally had to be pulled by a donkey. The angel picks up this incredibly heavy stone and hurls it violently into the deep sea. Splash! As that giant stone sinks rapidly to the bottom of the ocean, the angel declares, "Thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down and shall be found no more at all." Just like that heavy sinking stone can never float back up to the surface, Babylon will be thrown down and never ever be found again. Its time of ruling with greed is permanently over. The angel then describes how complete this ending really is. The once loud, bustling, and rich city will go totally silent forever. There'll be no more music from harps or trumpets, no more craftsmen building things, no more sound of grinding grain, no more warm light shining from candles, and no more happy voices celebrating weddings. All of the joy and life is stripped away because her merchants had deceived the nations with their greedy tricks and wicked sorceries. And here is the ultimate, final reason for her massive fall. In her was found the blood of prophets and of saints and of all that were slain upon the earth. The city was guilty of hurting God's people. They chose wealth, pride, and cruelty over love, kindness, and obedience to the Creator. As we wrap up this incredible, mind-blowing vision from Revelation 18, I want to leave all of you Bible Reading Club kids, and really everyone watching, with this final, super important thought to consider for your own life. Will you build your life on the treasures of the world, which can wash away like a sandcastle in a single hour? Or will you build your life on the justice and love of God, which lasts for all eternity? The choice is ours to make every single day. Keep reading your Bibles, keep asking great questions, and I will see you in our next explainer.